This is a review video for naming substances. We're going to be talking about substances that have a fixed charge. Now, there are multiple different types of substances. One is a fixed charge, so this is going to be our part one. We are going to talk about 4 different parts. So this is our fixed charge. Now, if we want to talk about elements that have a fixed charge, and if we look on the periodic table, the side that gives us our charges, they're the ones that I've highlighted here in yellow. In general, they're located here in our first group, here in our second group, and then here in our third group. We do have a few scattered around in the smaller section that makes up our transition metals. We don't see those very often. We do for zinc and we do for silver, so those are important to know that they're also a fixed charge. But in general, it's group 1, group 2, and group 3. Now, when you have a fixed charge, again, they're mainly located there. We do have a couple in the transition. Then when we are writing our name, if I give you the formula and you're supposed to write the name, the format would be that we take the metal name and then we use the non-metal name with an IDE ending. So for example, if I have Na with oxygen, well, if I look on the periodic table, Na is sodium, so I'm going to write my metal first to be sodium. O, well, hopefully you know that O is oxygen, but we can double check it on the periodic table. O, and then we have oxygen to be our element, or oxide with an IDE ending. So we're going to say sodium oxide. And that would be how we name a compound that has sodium and oxygen as its main components. If we have Li with S, well, Li is lithium. S is sulfur. We would use the non-metal name sulfur, but we would have an IDE ending. So it would become sulfide. In a similar way, Ca with F. Ca is calcium. F is fluorine, but we're going to turn it into an IDE ending, so we're going to have fluoride. If you're given the elements and they have a fixed charge, now what do I mean by fixed charge? If we zoom into this periodic table, it only gives us one charge. There's just the one charge. It doesn't have any other options. That's what I mean by fixed charge. So if we have our elements, then it's just going to be the metal name, our non-metal name with an IDE ending. Now, say I'm trying to write the formula. Like I give you the name, and I'm trying to write the formula. Well, here's kind of my steps. So first, we need to get our charges from the periodic table. We also need to get our abbreviations, if you don't know the abbreviations. And then we have to crisscross the charges so that our entire molecule, our entire compound, balances with charge. So, sodium oxide, well, sodium is Na. If I look on the periodic table, I find sodium. It has a charge of +1 in the top right corner. So I'm going to say sodium +1. And then oxygen, oxide is oxygen, so O. And if I find oxide or oxygen over here, it has a -2 in the top right corner. So I'm going to put a -2. Now, 1 and -2, they are not equal. They're not balanced. So I need 2 total positives in order to cancel these 2 total negatives. And in order to do that, I can take just the 2 and I crisscross it down, and just the 1 and I crisscross it down. That's a simplified way to write this, or a simplified way to get to the answer. So let me pretty that up a little. Na2O is going to be my substance, sodium oxide. Let's take a couple other examples. Aluminum nitride, because we have that IDE ending, it's coming off the periodic table. Aluminum is a 3+ charge. So Al with a 3 plus. Nitride is referring to nitrogen, which is a 3 minus charge. Oh, sorry. And nitrogen is a 3 minus charge. Now, this is a 3 plus, this is a 3 minus. They're complete opposites of each other, so these are going to cancel. I don't even need to crisscross them because they are already balanced as is. So I can just write Al, and that's the formula for aluminum nitride. If I look at calcium fluoride, calcium is Ca. And if I look on the periodic table, find calcium here, it has a 2 plus charge. Fluoride is F. Find fluoride on the periodic table over here. It's a 1 minus charge. Or 1 minus. 1 minus and minus 1, for general chemistry, they mean about the same thing. So you can put the plus in front or afterwards. There is a technical change, but we don't go that in depth in general chemistry. Now, in order to get these equal, this is a minus 1, that's a positive 2. I ultimately need this 2 to come down here. That gives me a total negative charge of negative 2 and a total positive charge of positive 2. So, if I pretty that up, it would look like CaF2. Now, that's for fixed charges. I hope that was helpful. For names, you just take the metal name and then the non-metal with an IDE ending. For formulas, we can just crisscross our chart.